Hi, I'm Dan Thies. A week ago, at the SMX Advanced Conference in Seattle, Google's Matt Cutt entered the room during a panel discussion about duplicate content in the canonical link tag. And he made some comments that have exploded across the SEO world like a really big explosive device exploding somewhere. Matt Cutt later spoke in another Q&A session and said even more confusing words that in spite of the immense anticipation, none of the idiots in the room, myself included, bothered to actually record. It's a good thing that Marty Weintraub actually wrote some of that stuff down. Now, some in the SEO community have hailed Matt's words as the dawning of a new age of enlightenment, while others consider them to be a harbinger of doom. They're probably both right. At any rate, speculating about what Matt actually said or meant is keeping people from acting on the immense amount of useful information that was presented during this amazing two-day event. But let's talk about what happened that day, because you all want to hear about it. First of all, I was there. I saw the whole thing, and as moderator of that Q&A session that he walked in on, I have a slightly different interpretation to offer, a little bit, regarding these events. The story you're about to hear has a few strange twists and turns, but by the end of this brief investigative report, I think you'll know exactly what Google is doing with all the PageRank that Matt told the audience just sort of evaporates when you use nofollow on your internal links. I had planned to simply report on these events, put up a short post with my own thoughts, and leave it alone, but unfortunately, fate intervened. Late last Friday, I received a telephone call from an individual who did not wish to be identified, claiming to have knowledge of Google's algorithms.
Hi Dan, I am an individual who does not wish to be identified, and I claim to have knowledge of Google's algorithms.
This unnamed individual described in detail a secret Google project called Operation BENDOVER, which is so fiendish that if the caller's claims are literally true, this amounts to a conspiracy of the highest order. For reasons that I won't get into now, I suspected that the voice on the other end of the line belonged to none other than Sister Leslie Maria, the Mother Superior at the orphanage where Matt Cutt grew up. It's a well-known fact that I'm starting a rumor that Matt calls Sister Leslie every Sunday to confess his menial and mortal sins and to discuss the finer points of graph theory. I tried to contact Sister Leslie Maria to confirm my suspicions, but she had no comment.
I have no comment.
After that, I wanted to fire up WordPress and tell the whole world the story of BENDOVER, but I felt an obligation to get the facts straight first. So I called up my StomperNet colleague and good friend Leslie Rohde to get some help. You see, years ago, Leslie pioneered a technique called dynamic linking, which many now refer to as PageRank Sculpting, and he's also a pretty good programmer. I asked Leslie if he could reprogram his PageRank simulator to test some different scenarios, and he agreed to do so.
Why sure Dan, I can hack my PageRank simulator to show that.
The first simulation we ran was intended to simply demonstrate how Matt could say that PageRank sort of evaporates, even if Google hadn't changed anything. We're using an example that is identical to what Matt used as reported by Danny Sullivan. A web page links to 10 other web pages. First, we run the simulation without nofollow. All 11 of the pages link to each other, and here are the results. Ignoring the effects of incoming and outbound links to the site, you can see that all of the pages end up with an equal share of the PageRank. That's simple enough. Next, we ran the simulation with 5 of the 10 links on each page nofollowed, and all of the pages linking to the home page. Many SEOs would expect that the pages behind the followed links would now have twice as much PageRank, but that's not the case. In fact, what happens is slightly more complex. You see, although the PageRank doesn't literally evaporate, much of it is distributed out of those other pages through the rest of the site and ends up back at the top page. No matter what, even using this unmodified version of PageRank, the simulation clearly demonstrates that if you have $10 worth of PageRank on page A, you can't just throw $2 worth onto each of 5 other pages and expect it to stick, even if you sculpt PageRank like some twisted SEO version of Michelangelo. Which is pretty much what Matt kind of said in a way, unless you listen to what he said after people started jumping up and down on his head. He later said something that I took as Matt sort of being diplomatic, that if anyone had run tests with sculpting in the past, they might want to run them again because things may have changed. Well, you know, since Matt knows very well that nobody can even measure Google's actual PageRank score for just one page, that'd be a pretty good, sort of elegantly ambiguous way to escape from the situation, which is pretty much how I thought about it at the time. Now, he said some different things later, and I understand that, but I simply find it hard to believe that something so radically new would be announced in such a setting, especially when an official Google Webmaster video that Matt released about a month ago made no mention of such changes coming in the wind. So, in my opinion, it's still quite possible that nothing has changed. But to gain more insight, we next took a literal interpretation of the scenario that was brought up later. after Matt further confused things in his own Q&A session. In this scenario, we still have 10 internal links on the first page with 5 of them no-followed. However, in the next simulation run, the PageRank algorithm has been modified so that even though PageRank does not pass through the 5 no-followed links, the available PageRank is still divided by 10, which is the total number of links on the page. As you recall, PageRank is an iterative function. You perform the calculation for every page using the initial values, then you do them all over again using the new values, many times until the PageRank scores converge into a stable state. PageRank is a probability distribution, which means that you can't just have probabilities evaporate. They have to go somewhere. Here's the next simulation. And, okay, not so good. Sculpting still works, sort of, but the total PageRank is decreased. Now, but wait, where does it go? It has to go somewhere, as Leslie explains over at his site, and there's a link to that here. The missing probability, and again, that's all PageRank really is probability. The missing probability is actually distributed to the rest of the billions of pages in Google's indexed. Now, if Google had implemented something like this, I think we'd notice the effects. A lot of extremely large sites make extensive use of no-follow. Sites using basic dynamic linking to improve their indexing would actually see their index penetration decline, but we're not really seeing those effects at all. Unless Google implemented this very recently, it just doesn't quite wash. We're not really sure. So that leaves us with only one rational alternative as I see it, an insanely paranoid conspiracy theory. Maybe nothing has changed. Perhaps something has changed very recently, or maybe Sister Leslie Maria was right about Project Bendover. I hope you're sitting down. First of all, the code name, BENDOVER, probably needs a little explanation. It's one of those self-referencing acronyms that the geeks like to think up, like GNU standing for GNU is not Unix. BENDOVER, on the other hand, stands for BENDOVER enhances network dominance, only videos ever rank. Actually, I'm told that the original name included evil laughter at the end, like but the acronym didn't look quite right, so they shortened it. Maybe there's something to this. After all, it seems very plausible that a bunch of computer scientists would come up with a self-referencing name for their evil project. That's practically a smoking gun if you ask me. Then consider the recent so-called success that many black hat types have had in littering extremely obscure long-tail search results with YouTube videos and then selling the amazing secret to uploading videos. Ask yourself the obvious questions. Why? How? Seriously, what's up with that? The Bendover theory not only explains how so many stupid videos make their way into search results, it also allows Google to cripple PageRank Sculpting without the inconvenient issue of PageRank evaporating and screwing up the algorithm. Here's how Bendover would work if actually put into place at Google. Instead of ignoring or not counting the no-follow links, the Google bot randomly assigns each of these as fully followed links to a random YouTube video. Hopefully not that one with the 2 girls in the cup and the... Anyway. That's plausible, right? After all, Matt did say that this bubbled up from the indexing team, the very same people who run the Google bot. Now, the missing PageRank has somewhere to go, and although it evaporates for you, Google gets a nice traffic boost for YouTube, which they own. Could they possibly be doing this? Was a Bendover cover-up plan the real topic of that lunch meeting that I couldn't get into when my fake badge didn't scan right? We may never know, but I will keep trying to find out the truth. In the meantime, don't freak out if you're just no-following links to pages that don't deserve any PageRank anyway, because you probably should do that. And keep in mind, again, that if something has suddenly changed, it will have observable results, which we'll be able to report on soon enough. For now, if the sky doesn't appear to be falling on your rankings, don't let the big internet hype machine distract you from what's really important. Do what's best for your users because they're the ones who pay your bills. If you want to improve your rankings, then create more content, get more links, and we'll talk more soon. As far as I know, Matt Cutt does not dream about Lyndsay, but she is pretty cute and I wouldn't blame him. Don't take that the wrong way, Lyndsay. I also think you're very smart, but you did post about having pillow fights in your underwear, and I got a visual. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been 37 years since my last confession. PageRank Sculpting may be harder than you think. Stay in school, kid.